Let's warm this. Let's warm this baby up, shall we? Uh,
Okay, stream's on.
okay. A second here. Okay, so we're live.
Yep.
Okay, so let's see now. Well, it's been Jesse. It's been a while. It has been a while since I have done this opener. So let's do a bit of. I mean, it's a bit of a vocal gymnast is what you really need to be when you do this opener,
Yes.
right? This Nintendo has opener. So let me warm the chords up here. I am the very making of a modern major general. I have information, vegetable, animal, and mineral. I know the kings of England, and I quote the fights historical from Marathon to Waterloo. A little bit of a vocal warm up there. It's from the Pirates of Penzance. I think we're good now. I think we're good. All right. Shall we? Three, two, one. Welcome to Nintendo Dads, episode 186, recorded today on June 7th, 2018. On tonight's episode.
Or 183.
What did I say?
186?
Damn it, Jesse. It's that kind of attitude. All right, here we go. Let's try it again. Have a sip of tea. Maybe that will help. All right, three, two, one. Welcome to Nintendo Dads, episode 183, recorded today, June 7th, 2018. How great is that? And on tonight's episode, we are going to discuss the fact that we are on the eve, ladies and gentlemen, of E3. There is so much information coming out. Leaks are abound. But we're going to sit in the pocket. We're going to have a chat about how hyped and how excited we are. We're going to talk a little bit about Let's Go Pikachu. We're going to talk about some more Switch Online stuff. How did Mario Tennis do this weekend? Who knows? Did Castlevania get renewed? Maybe. Spoiler, it did, yes. But either which way, we are less than 5 days away from E3 for Nintendo. Our hype is real. It is so exciting, I might take my shirt off. Probably not. It's a family-friendly show. But someone, Mr. Jesse Waldeck, cue that music.
In post.
I love your in post. All right. Good afternoon, good day, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Justin Masson, and you are tuned into the Nintendo Dads podcast, your Nintendo news that you need to know right now podcast for everything that is good under the sun. And ladies and gentlemen, as I mentioned, we are on the eve of Video Game Nerd Christmas. That's right, it is E3, but I am not piloting this ship alone. No, ladies and gentlemen, with me tonight, I have one of the sassiest podcasters around. You might know him as Eric. I know him as Jesse Waldeck. How are you, sir?
I am well, and apparently so is Eric.
Eric as well. Eric is great.
I think so. If you're on the paddle, I'm on the rear steering it, and Eric's up watching, make sure we don't crash into anything.
Oh, I think so. I think Eric is a boss. Do you know what I mean? Just takes life by the horns. And probably has like tattoos all over too, and just doesn't give a darn about anything. So
I see how you caught yourself there.
I know, right? I'm like family-friendly show. I was like, you swallow that word back.
Welcome to 5 a.m.
Yeah, well, it is. It's 5 a.m. for me. I appreciate the extra hour of sleep. I don't know if you can hear. I don't know if it's coming out on the microphone. I have allergies. Oh man, I have hay fever allergies.
I could tell you had a little sinus thing going on.
Oh, and you wake up in the morning, right, and you're just like stuffed. Your everything doesn't feel good. You pop, your Claritin or whatever it is here, and you kind of just wait for it to. You wait for the goodness of the drug to wash over you like a wave, and that wave is not here yet, but it's slowly getting here. So, yeah. That's enough about me, though. Jesse, I'm actually really excited to have you, just on the show. I mean, that sounds like you're not on the show often.
I was going to say, I'm here every week. It's
here.
you, the one that is, goes in and out.
Yeah, fair play to you. I do appreciate that. But more excitingly, you and I get some good quality time, which I think is great, because there's some stuff in here that I think is a little bit in your back alley, and I'm excited to talk to you about some of the stuff. So this is really great. Jesse, sorry, for those of you that aren't, you're like, hey, where's the other two? Did you finally kill them? No, we didn't. Marty's away for the couple for a week or two now. I think he's got an anniversary. Happy anniversary to you, Marty. And Zach's just being Zach. Yeah. We do expect him to maybe pop in as well later today, so we're excited for that. But guys, let's jump into a little bit of what is going on. So let's jump right into the news, shall we? Let's do that. Let's cue the music. All right. And of course, the news is brought to us by us, actually. Well, actually not by us, by you. By heading over to patreon.com/NintendoDads. Now, Jesse, if I said to you the following names, I want you to try and figure out maybe who they are. Ready? Here we go. It's a little bit of a name association game. Sean Abbott, Chase Martin. Who do you think they are?
Possibly new patrons?
Oh my God. How did you do that?
Lucky guess.
Lucky guess. Amazing. Amazing. Did you read the notes? I don't know. Guys, this is why he is the sassiest podcaster around. You are right, absolutely.
You'll never know.
You'll never know. You're absolutely right, Jesse. Chase Martin and Sean Abbott are our newest Patreon contributors. So thank you so much, guys. We appreciate that. And I also want to give a big shout out to two other people for Patreon. That's David Nelson and Alex Visser. Now, let's see if you can go 2 for 2, Mr. Waldak. Who are they?
Yeah, you got me on that one.
See, this is why I'm in the host chair, right? The big comfy lounge host chair. It's because David and Alex were already Patreon subscribers, helping us make amazing content, keep the lights on every single day, keep tea in my coffee cup. Tea in my coffee cup does not sound like the right words, but either which way, David and Alex upped their pledges. Actually, they did some editing and said, you know what, I got some extra scratch. Let's throw out to these fools. So we appreciate all of them. So again, Chase, David, Alex, Sean, thank you so much for your support.
So thanks to everybody who has donated over the months, years.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you to every single person. We greatly appreciate it. If you want to be like these fantastic individuals and help us create amazing Nintendo Dads content, you can go over to patreon.com/Nintendo Dads. Guys, that's the advertising. I want to get out of here. Let's stop talking about advertising. Well, let's break into the news. All right. So the news. Oh, wow, you are fast. You are fast on putting these neose items in here, Jesse.
Yeah,
Again, you are hardworking.
Yeah, I copy and pasted from last week.
Okay, yeah. So I wanted to talk about. I've been gone for 2 weeks, and I listened to the podcast. Obviously, did I listen last week? I'm pretty sure I did. And I wanted to talk about these because obviously on the edge of E3. So you guys talked about last week the Nintendo E3 kiosk leaks, right? So if for those of you, are like, what are you talking about, Justin? What I'm talking about is that an image leaked out about a week and a half ago, of 9 video game placards. So these are the placards that go over top of the actual kiosks. If you go to any gaming event, so when you go to EGX or E3 or any of these events, the demo units will have a placard over top of them, basically telling you which game it is. So these placards got released, kiosk placards got released. And so on here we saw games such as Dragon Fighter Z, Fortnite, Monster Hunter that was already announced, FIFA 19, I apologize, Killer Queen Black, Starlink, Paladins, Overcooked 2, and Mario Tennis. So I know you guys talked a little bit about this. I wanted to ask you, Jesse, are any of these games standing out for you? Are you excited about any of these?
For me, not particularly.
Okay.
Paladins, seems to be kind of like Overwatchy.
Mm-hmm.
So I know Zach was hoping for an Overwatch, but Paladins might be a next best option. Fortnite, I did say last week that if it does come out in Switch, which it sounds like it's almost like 99% confirmed at this point, I would download it and give it a try. I'm not saying I'm going to play it for long. If the thing just...
Jesse?
Yes?
Oh, I'm losing you there for a second. You roboted out on me.
Oh, well, the recording should be fine on my side since I'm the one recording it. But
that's cool. So I might have missed what you said. So.
Right. So, yeah, Fortnite, I do plan on downloading it and giving it a playthrough. I think I said before, I will usually, everyone knows I'm not a fan of shooters. Every 3 or 4 years, I'll download the latest shooter and give it a try just to confirm, yep, not my thing. But at least I'm giving it the go. You know.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it's not that I didn't like a game in 1992 and said never again. I do give it a try every once in a while.
Mhm.
So this one, I haven't tried it on the PS4, even though I could. But if it comes out no longer if, but when it comes out on Switch, I will give that a try.
And sorry, this game is Paladins you're talking about, is that right?
No, Fortnite.
Fortnite. Okay, I appreciate that one. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so let's maybe again, I think you were talking about Paladins and then you started like roboting out, so I'm like, I don't know where he's going. Excuse me. See, let's kind of break down to a little bit of these things. Let's maybe talk about Fortnite. So at this point, Fortnite is pretty much all but confirmed by Nintendo, right? There was a couple other things that came out.
Well, by everybody else except for Nintendo.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, a couple pieces of information came out over the week. So we had the placards. Then we had the Korean ratings board officially gave it a rating. And then a couple days ago, data miners went through the code and found it sitting in the eShop, pretty much available. So
which tells me it's going to be one of those, here's the game, it's going to come out, and it'll be ready. No.
Yeah, and that's interesting. So
because they've got to prime it. It's not, they can't just throw things out willy nilly. They have to set things up, but they can still have it set up and then disabled, and then they hit the switch.
Yeah,
pun not intended. But I'm going to try to.
No, I think that was fantastic.
I'm going to try to put the switch sound in if I remember.
Yeah.
I did that with Marty 2 weeks ago, and he thought it was funny.
Hey, best man in post editing. I think it's fantastic. Yeah, I agree. Like, so I think we're all expecting Nintendo during E3 to basically say, and it's available today, right? And then everyone's going to flood over to the eShop and try and like refresh the page, crash the eShop possibly. Now, Fortnite's a free to play game, correct?
Yes and no. The original Fortnite is the story mode, the single player mission is a paid content.
Okay.
This the battle royale mode that's free.
Which is what everyone wants.
Which is what everyone wants. Yes.
Right. Okay.
At least that's how it's been on other systems. I'm presuming it'll be the same here.
Right, but they're monetizing through season pass and loot crate or loot box, are they not? Or is it not loot boxes?
I don't know if they do loot boxes, but they do have like season content that does unlock things. Again, I've never played it. My son has, and he's talked to me a little bit about it, but most of it's gone over my head.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm going to be very, once this is announced, I'm going to be very, and I'm hoping, fingers crossed, we're going to see some like Nintendo exclusive content for a week or whatever, much like they did with Thanos for Infinity War, and I think in some ways the relationship that we saw the folks at Rocket League have with Nintendo when they came over to E3. I'm hoping there's some.
In Rocket League, on the Nintendo stuff, did the Xbox people see the Nintendo content, or did they just see generic models at that point?
I don't know. That's a great question. Anyone in the chat who might be able to vouch for that? Is there anyone in our chat? Let's start with that, shall we?
Yeah, there are a few people in chat, yes. We have 11 watching right now.
There you go, okay.
I tend to remember, again, but I could be wrong, that... Oh, wait a minute here. Okay, no, I can hear... Never mind. I think I remember hearing that Xbox just gets default models if anyone uses something Nintendo.
Okay.
So if they do something with Fortnite, and this is going to be a cross-platform game as well, I imagine something similar may happen. Right. Sean in the chat says that they do see generic models.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. I see. I see Mr. Josh Thomas getting sassy already. Josh, I swear I will find you.
Oh, he started out sassy. He asked me a half hour before we started where the show was.
Oh, jeez. Tell him to back off. I'm just kidding. I love you, Josh. So let's, there's some other games here I want to talk about. Paladins. Big information released today about Paladins. It's actually currently available in the Nintendo Switch eShop. Now, this is, were we aware of this game beforehand?
I've heard of it on other platforms, but I don't know much about it.
Were we aware it was coming to the Nintendo Switch? I almost said the 3DS, which would have been really funny.
Up until when we talked about this last week, no. This was a surprise thing to be on the Switch, but with announcements made earlier today, it sounds like that's also going to a lock.
Oh yeah, like no, this is definitely like I'm in the eShop right now.
Oh, that's right. I did see it. Yeah, it's there
Yeah,
for
so it's
pre-order.
yeah, it is pre-purchase and it will be playable on the 12th of June,
Yeah,
so the day
yeah.
of E3.
When we heard the
Uh,
news this morning, or this morning my time,
yeah,
everything was in terms of UK because the North American eShop didn't update yet.
yeah,
But
yeah.
when our update, when we did get the update around noonish, then yeah, it's there too. Apparently, I didn't see what the price was. Apparently, it's going to be like what they call a founders pack, so
Yeah.
you get some extra benefit for getting it early. It will be a free to play something,
Yep.
game later on, and so
Yes.
you probably is it's still the same game, but you just don't get the extra goodies. Is my
Yeah,
guess.
so going through it really quickly, you are correct. So in the Canadian eShop, it is 37.99.
Ooh.
And it
So it's probably
apparently,
$30 here
yeah,
then.
probably exactly. And it does state here that it is a free-to-play fantasy team-based shooter sensation. Let's see what else is here.
Yeah, so
Uh,
sounds like Overwatch.
yeah, and it says here, Paladins is completely free to play. Anything that affects gameplay can be unlocked simply by playing, with cosmetic items available for purchase. Now, I think as you were right there, the founders pack, there is cosmetic stuff, and I remember hearing some stuff about voice packs and kit or whatever it is. Here we go. Notification: the Paladins founders pack grants immediate access to Paladins, unlock all 35 plus current champions, and includes every future champion. The Founders Pack also includes a limited edition internal Warhorse mount and a limited God of War skin for the champion Fernando.
I think I
A free
remember when that mount armor showed
Okay.
up on like the Steam version. People kind of thought it was silly and kind of gave it a bad rating.
Okay. And then
But
it
I don't
says,
know. Having played EverQuest in the past, and
right.
Mount Armor is also a thing there. I thought it looked kind of
Yeah.
cool.
And then it says here a free to play edition of this will be available later this summer. So that's interesting. Now it's actually priced here at again 37.99 Canadian, 5.8 gigs. Oh man, 5.8 gigs.
Which
Um,
not too surprising. And of course, games like this will update often, so expect a lot of patches.
yeah, like I
So,
think Rocket League on the Switch, I think for me is I think the game that uses the most amount of my space, and that's like
prepare your
over
SD
seven.
card.
Yeah, you know what? I'm currently working on migrating to a larger SD card. It's a process. It is a real process. The struggle is real. Um,
Yeah, I think I bought a 128, and I'm more than half full on it.
yeah, I was stupid. I bought a 64 to start off with, and I was like, oh, this will be fantastic. Yeah, no, I'm almost done that thing, and I'm so I got a 128. So now I'm gonna migrate my 64
All
over
right.
my
So
128, which will still give me about 60
so I'm
ish
about
left.
half-ish. I have 56 gigs free right now.
I tend to manage my data a fair bit too, right? So if I'm done, like, like, here's a little bit inside baseball, right? If I'm done with a game, I've reviewed it, and I'm probably not going to go back to it, or I've completed it, I will just like take it off. In that I will delete it, like the what is it, quick archive or manage my it's the icon is still on my screen, but it's I have to re-download it, and the player data is there, right? So I do a relatively good job of trying to mitigate and manage that stuff, especially if it's like over a gig. Some games we get are significantly larger, but I was kind of hoping to hear, when Zach comes in, and I know he's in the chat here saying I'm coming. I do want to talk to him about this. Zach being our Overwatch fan, I was hoping to hear a little bit more from him. Um, so let me ask you this one though. This one, I'm really excited for this. Jesse, have you played Killer Queen? Killer Queen, she's the
I
Killer Queen.
I have not. Apparently, it is like a multiplayer, like a 10-player arcade game. As if that's if wow. I'm hearing a bunch of echoes now that Jack showed up.
Aha, that's me. Sorry, dude.
So if
It'll
it's what
work.
I'm thinking of in the arcade is like it's a 10-player arcade game. It's going to
Yes.
set up as like two side by side cabinets that are 5 players each, and each team of 5 is basically the team against the other team. Kind
Yes.
of
Yeah.
with some joust like gameplay.
Yeah.
In the middle, if I heard right, the middle person of the group of five. Wow, Zach. is like is the queen in that, and so that and the other four are drones and have different control schemes.
Jesse, I almost want you to pause the show right now. I want you to get in your van. I want you to drive to downtown Kansas City, and you go to the Up, Up, Down, Down barcade that is there because they have a Killer Queen machine there. And it is fantastically fun to play. When I was visiting there a year and a bit ago, I had stayed over for a weekend, and on the Saturday night, as you do as a lonely man in a city, you decide to go drinking at a barcade, of course. And I had an opportunity to play Killer Queen, and it is that it's to your point, it is machines back to back, and people are just throwing in like, hey, I want to join your team, and it is this like couch co-op Arcadian experience, and it's a ton of fun, and I think this is an absolute winner for the Nintendo Switch. And mark my words, guys, like this is going to be a game you are going to want to pick up when it comes out. Now, I don't know I don't know the Killer Queen Black part of it. Obviously, it's probably they're obviously moving into the platform edition. But this is an amazing experience, and if you want to talk about like bringing people over, having a party fun, online fun, this is going to be awesome. So I would definitely recommend this one. I'm hyped for it. Jesse, you really should go out to the barcade and check this one out, because I think this is definitely on your docket. So I'm excited for this. Now, this is interesting. This, and then you've got Overcooked. So we've got Fortnite, we've got Paladin, we've got Killer Queen Black, we've got Overcooked. All these placards. These are pretty heavy multiplayer online, or at least multiplayer games. And I would argue that Killer Queen, Paladin, and Fortnite are very heavy online games. I think this is a very interesting play.
Like a lot of those games probably don't even have an online mode.
Yeah, I think it's interesting the Nintendo's play here about really, or at least we're really focusing on games that require online. And I think that's interesting as we look at September coming up here with Nintendo's online service, how critical these games are going to kind of be to the repertoire as well. So, Zach, welcome for joining us. Great to have you here today.
Hey, thanks, man.
We were just talking about Paladin a couple moments ago. I wanted to ask your input. You seem very mediocre on this game.
I don't know. I don't really know much about it, honestly. Like, I kind of checked out the basics, I guess. Like, I checked out that trailer, and I'd heard about it before. I don't know enough about it as far as, like, it, other than it looking like Overwatch,
Sure.
Like,
yeah. I thought that would be maybe enough for you.
It depends, right? Like, if it's like, it's hard to know, because, like, do I want to play a poor man's Overwatch, or do I want to play Overwatch? You know what I mean? Like, right. I feel like it's kind of not to say that Paladins isn't necessarily a good game. It's just, is it as good as? I mean, looking at like, it's got a 9 out of 10 rating on Steam right now, and so
it's not the game you want; it's the game you deserve.
Well, that's the thing, right? Exactly. Right? Like, I don't know. I'm open to it, but I feel like for me too right now, like, I'm in a place right now where I don't know if, like, is this a game that is, a lot of these kinds of games is it free? It's not free. Okay, so it's $30 on, like, other systems. I don't know.
It's a free to play, but what they're doing is they're starting you off by saying, like, hey, do you want to buy all the packs now?
Yeah. Right? Okay, so you can download it free to play, though.
Not immediately.
If you want to play it right away, which will likely, like, be probably
June 12th. You want to play it June 12th? You got to pay the 38 Canadian.
Okay, but down the road, it will be free to play, where you don't have to pay the $30, but then you don't get the extra goodies.
Yeah. Well, you can earn the extra goodies.
Right. You can still earn them, but you aren't just given to them on a silver platter.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't know. I guess I'm open to it. It would be, maybe, but it's hard to say, honestly. Like, I'm open to the idea, though, and I think that anything like this is good for the platform at the very least, right? To kind of bring in some additional kinds of gameplay, and, like, I think that, honestly, I don't know what the crap is taking Blizzard so long. Like, just get on the platform already. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
and them not getting on the Switch is going to make room. Like, in one sense, it's good because it'll make room for some of these other developers, and maybe they'll find some success on the Switch. But if Blizzard jumps in, then I mean, I think a similar kind of situation may be happening once Smash Brothers comes out, and then what is it, Brawl Out?
Yeah.
That game is basically just gonna wither up and die on the Switch as soon as Smash hits, right? And so,
right. Well, I think it's one of those things of, like, there's a first to platform versus kind of everything else, right? I think, in some cases, even a little bit on the Fortnite component of that. Recently, there's a game coming out. I don't know when it's coming out. Crowdfunded game, Crazy Justice, and it's very Fortnite-esque ish. And they recently came out and said, "Oh, we're not quite Fortnite. We're more PUBG-ish." But it's like, well, who's going to show up here first, right? Because you have a very thin window for popularity, right? If all of a sudden Overwatch shows up, I mean, it's going to eat the lunch, right, of another game like this. If Fortnite is first to the platform, you're probably not going to get those other people that you want to play your game, right? And very much to your point of Smash as well. Which maybe one of the reasons why we heard Pocket Rumble, by the way, Zach Erickson, Pocket Rumble. Do you remember that game?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's being released in July.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Well, that's what they're telling us, right?
I guess the other thing that I would say is that specifically in this Paladins case, I think that Paladins has done something very good to get onto the platform before Overwatch. Because Overwatch can afford to wait, right? Yeah. Like Overwatch, whenever Overwatch shows up, it's going to be a success. But the other way around, like if Overwatch would have beaten Paladins, then Paladins nobody would have cared.
Yeah.
But being the Overwatch until Overwatch actually shows up is a good place for them to be, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Excellent. All right. Anything else here crazily enough to talk about? I think those are the big ones I want to talk about. I did want to talk about Fortnite. We did that.
I think one thing I saw online today, and I don't know if this is later, or if we have this in the notes later on, but with Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, that is something I think you have in here that it'll require motion controls. It's also, they are locking core pieces of this game behind the online functionality, right? So, I mean, this is I think just going to be a sad wake-up call for people who are realizing that, yes, you will have to pay for online for basic game functions, right? Like every other Pokemon in history, online battles and online trading has been something that you could just do with your friends. But now you will have to have an online subscription in order to be able to do that.
Yeah, and I think
you could still do local, like there might still be local wireless that you could do, but yeah,
that's my understanding. And I'll throw this out as a correction. Last week we talked about this, and we thought you didn't need the online service to do online stuff, but
you totally do. Yeah.
But now apparently it turns out you do.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that really also reaffirms with what we've seen for Fortnite, Paladin, and then Killer Queen Black. Those will also require online if you really want to be playing. Right, like I'm sure Paladin's fun by yourself, probably not. But online is where, much like Overwatch is where it's at, right? Fortnite, same thing, and Killer Queen Black. I mean, I'm sure if you get 2 Nintendo Switches together locally and you have 8 people in a room, that'd be great crack. But you're probably gonna have more fun online.
But this is also basically just bringing them in par with everybody else, though. Like, I think that's an important perspective to keep in mind.
I 100% agree with that. But I think what we're seeing is the forced hand.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like this is welcome to the 21st century. Nintendo, you want a Nintendo to be a 21st century online company, and you be careful what you wish for, because you just are about to get it. So
yeah, and it'll be interesting to see how, and again, I think the big question that I think we all have, and I didn't play the Mario Tennis Aces, and maybe this is a bit of our conversation later. I did hear some concerns about the online connectivity on that. Maybe it's because they're testing the servers, stuff like that. But it'll be interesting to see, once it becomes a paid service, as we talked about before, can Nintendo step that up? Nintendo's got to be better at that, and I think that's a little bit of a concern. All right. So that's again, guys, folks. E3, Nintendo's E3 conference is less than 5 days away. All shall be revealed. Although, in all honesty, someone is asking me how hyped am I for Nintendo's conference. I'm excited. Of course, I am. Right? Why would we not be? But with some of these leaks having came out, it feels like it cuts down some of that, the big gasp, aha moments. Right? It feels like what's the shock that Nintendo's now going to get?
Yeah, I don't know. I come back to the same old mantra that's going to be very familiar to people: is high hopes and low expectations. I don't know. I'm excited. Like, I'm excited to see what they have to show. But the reality is, I think we know most of what's coming. I think there will maybe be a couple of surprises or more reveals, but I don't know if we're going to get a ton of new announcements, especially first party stuff.
Yeah, and that's probably a little bit of where the disappointment is now, right? Because we do know a fair chunk right now. They can always surprise us with new stuff, or we may hear something from Bethesda, right, or EA or Ubisoft that was not part of the main show. That gets us right, but yeah, I mean, I'm just kind of well, we now know some of these things, and it's kind of like your jerk brother or sister is like, guess what Mom got you for your birthday, and they leak it, and you're like, oh, you putz. Right,
dang those sneaks, man.
Yeah, right. You can't put those back in the box, right? You jerks. All right, so let's jump over to what else we've got for the news. I think we talked a little bit about it before. Obviously, let's go Pikachu and Eevee requiring motion control. I don't know. Is this a really huge deal? So we could not play this with motion control?
What I'm hearing is, if you have the Pokeball Plus, then that's your motion control. If you want to play it with one Joy-Con in hand, then that's your motion control. If
you're in hand, I imagine it's probably touchscreen, right?
No touchscreen. But they said it's still gyro aiming, but then you can push a button to do the throwing. But
okay, so I'm assuming maybe that's the same as if you're using a Pro Controller too, then. Right?
Maybe, because it does have it would have the similar type of controls as the right Joy-Con. I'm not sure.
Hang on, my internet's cutting out. Keep going.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean,
there hasn't been any discussions about the Pro Controller that I've heard.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. It'll be interesting to see how that all shakes out. More information obviously coming there. It's actually available in pre-order here in my local game store. What they price at? I think it was like $49.99, so €50 is what they priced at. They already have the boxes available there.
Does that put it at a full price game?
Yeah, that's 75 Canadian. So
that's gonna be a full price game then.
Yeah, I pre-ordered the Eevee version for my daughter from Amazon with their Prime discount.
Yeah,
I haven't pre-ordered mine yet.
I actually ended up showing the video to my daughter. Actually, I've been gone for a couple weekends now for a bit of Lads Weekend, and I got back on Monday, and I had downloaded Pokemon Quest before I left because it was free, and thought I'd give it a shot. Didn't have a chance playing, but I got back home. My oldest daughter, Rylan, I get home, and she's like, Dad, I've been playing Pokemon Quest. That's fantastic. I love it. And I was like, oh, wow, okay. I didn't realize you'd be playing it. That's great. She's really into that one right now. So I showed her the Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee video, and she's like, oh, this is amazing. Oh, my gosh, and it connects to Pokemon Go. And so she was telling her mother about it later, too. And I was like, that's exactly the audience for this thing. Like, it was the perfect fit. So I think she's gonna be very excited for it. I'll just have to figure out which one she wants herself as well. So Zach, how was your son sitting with this one? I mean, he was really into Pokemon Go, was he not?
Yeah, he was. I think we're a big Pokemon household. He was really excited. I think it's, and he was really excited. I'm excited for it. I think, I don't know, my stance of it is that this is a really great game for a new generation. Like, I wouldn't call it, again, they're calling it a mainline game, but it is also, I see it as a sort of like a sidestep almost, right? Sort of like it's not an entirely, it's like a sidestep and a creation of a parallel kind of game, right? Similar to like a simpler version of the same game. And so I think that it's actually like a much more approachable version of the same. Maybe the closest similarity that I would give it is how, you know, how in like Super Mario 3D Land and 3D World, yes, they were 3D Mario games, but they were more approachable. And I think I think that that's maybe the closest similarity or the closest description that I would give to the Let's Go series, is that it's, yes, it is a core Pokemon RPG, but it's more approachable, and that's where its focus is.
Right.
And I think that that's a niche that really, that there is a lot of potential. It makes it approachable because the mainline Pokemon series right now is so nebulous and unapproachable in just about every way, and how complex it is, and how many Pokemon there are, that I think it's perfect. I think it's exactly what they needed to do, and it's really, really smart. So
I agree with that.
You'll get, and I'm just as excited for the Gen 8 game next year, and I think that that has its fans too.
Hold on, Zach. Zach, I need to stop you right there. So you can be equally as excited for both this new Pokemon Let's Go game and the new one coming out in 2019?
Yeah, I know, it's weird, right? You
know, no, Zach. If the internet has taught me anything, you can't do that. You have to. It's only one or the other.
This is a strange example of, if you are patient, you can both have your cake and eat it too.
Shut up.
You just have to wait for the second cake to come, right?
No. No.
And then you have some cakes, and you can do both. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So,
I'm sorry. Everything that I have read indicates that Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee is the death of the series, and there are tiers of fans around the world that cannot truly extinguish the fire that is burning this franchise to the ground. So you're telling me that's wrong?
So what I will actually say, I know you're just joking, but one thing that I will say that I think Nintendo really needs to nail home during their E3 presentation, because I don't necessarily know that they communicated this well enough when they announced Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. I do not think that they announced clearly enough that Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee are not that game that we were waiting for, right? I think that they need to make it very clear that there is a 2019 core, hardcore, quote unquote, Pokemon game, and that one is the one that everybody was waiting for. They won't use those words, obviously, but I think that they need to make it very clear that a Gen 8 game is coming next year, because I think that a lot of the frustration from people is actually misinformed, because they don't understand the fact that Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee is not the end all be all of the Pokemon franchise moving forward. It's a sidestep. So
yeah, and I love the word that you use, the word hardcore and Pokemon in the same sentence, because that's fantastic, right?
Look, man, if you want to get into like IV and E.
Have you ever seen Roger's videos? I remember watching some of his videos when X and Y were new, and he he streamed his plays online, and some of them were crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I jumped in the series, on Pokemon Sun and Moon or whatever it was, and I was like, I don't know what half these things are going on here. I'm too old to learn new stuff about small animals that live in balls. Like, I'm not going to do this. But in a lot of ways, I think to your point, Zach, I think potentially the accessibility of Yellow or a remake or whatever we want to call it can simplify that, right? Can take away from the, I don't know, all the lore and canon that I guess is too much to potentially consume. And I talked about that before. I've listened to some, IGNs, they'll have a Pokemon expert come on, and I'm like, I don't even think they're speaking English. I don't know what half the words they're using here. I'm like, oh, it's a shiny. What are you on drugs? Like, I don't know what's going on here. So there's a lot of confusion I have there, but hopefully this will become accessible for people.
I think the shiny is a Firefly reference, if I understand correctly.
It could be. But I think they're shiny Pokemon though. They were saying. I don't really know.
Yeah, so shinies are color variants. I'm not sure if you're kidding or not. But
yeah, it was a Firefly joke. People who appreciate it will appreciate it.
Okay.
I like Firefly.
What? Wait, what?
I like Firefly.
I actually wasn't too impressed with it either when I watched it. Anyway,
gosh.
so
Firefly's great.
So yeah, I mentioned before my son collects shinies, and he actually got a shiny in Pokemon Quest, and so he got all excited. He got a shiny Farfetch'd.
Yeah, see, I don't know what that is. Shiny Farfetch'd sounds like some kind of disease you might have contracted. But let's move on. Let's move on to our next topic here.
Just a color variant. That's it.
Okay. Hey, so are you guys pre-ordering Mario Tennis Aces? Anyone doing that?
Oh my gosh, dude, I suck at that game. This is one of those situations where the demo made me realize that I suck at this game, and I'm much less excited about it now that I realize I'm bad at it.
Oh, I knew I sucked at it before I played the demo.
Interesting. Well, the reason I ask, and I do want to ask about how much you sucked at this game in a couple moments here, Zach, is if you pre-order Mario Tennis Aces on the eShop, you will get double the gold coins. So you'll get 600 instead of 300.
Well, these are at least in U.S. dollars. The Canada currency would be different.
Yourself out. Yeah, whatever. Hey, listen, folks. Whatever country you're in, localize this to you. All right, like we're not managing you. Okay, but you have to have it pre-ordered before midnight on the 21st to qualify. I don't know, like when you give away bonus stuff like, hey, here's more gold coins for pre-orders, I always question the quality of a product, and I don't know if that's just me being facetious. Zach, you said that this game, the demo turned you off from this, right?
I don't.
That you're bad at the game.
I think it. You know what? I will say this is the tutorial. Like there are a lot of different systems in this game going on at once, and I will say that the demo didn't necessarily do a great job at explaining what all of these different meters and things were that I was supposed to be doing, because there are like different kinds of power shots and build up this meter, and you know what I mean. And I don't mind those systems if I know what I'm doing, but I feel like this game did not really. The demo didn't explain it enough.
Yeah,
to me.
I had issues with the demo.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't mind the fact that like there are complex systems in this game and that we can, you can learn all of that. I just like, if that's the case, then teach me, because I don't like an idiot.
I thought it over tutorialized. It threw too much stuff at me at once, and I couldn't remember it. Multiple times I tried hitting the run to the star and do something with an L button, and every time the ball just beans me in the head. Like, that's not how you're supposed to play the game. I know this.
Mm-hmm. For those of you that are in the chat, let me know if you're going to be ordering Mario Tennis and what your experience was with it as well. I see some people in here already had some experience with it.
Okay, seeing in the chat here somebody saying, "Did you not read the tutorials?" I'm sorry, but if I have to read the tutorials, that's a problem, right? And I say that because I may be reading tutorials, but I will tell you my kids won't, right? And this is a game that I want to be able to play with my kids. And yes, there's a simplified mode, but that's an issue if they are actually putting all of that stuff in like read-only sort of tutorials. That I don't know if that's the case. I didn't see a thing where I got this impression that I needed to read a bunch. But I'm also the kind of like press the button, let's get to the action kind of people too, and so I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, the other issue I had with the demo is, while it did have non-online play to quote-unquote practice, you wouldn't let you do it until the online servers were on. So the game is making me eat my online time that is limited to the 3-day span to go through the tutorial, to do the practicing if I choose to. So of course I'm not going to choose to, because I want to do.
Yeah, because you want to get to the online.
I
stuff,
want
right?
to get to
Yeah.
the stuff that why the game is there, and of course I sucked.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I did not get an opportunity to play it. I have never played any Mario Tennis games, like period, end of stop, whole conversation. I wanted to try it, but I was gone for the weekend, so I didn't get the opportunity to. So it seemed like the reviews are mixed from my experience.
Mm.
I think the last tennis game I played and actually got somewhat decent on was like the original Super Tennis, like launch title on the Super Nintendo.
Okay.
So that tells you how long it's been since I played a tennis game.
So Nintendo Talk in the chat says it's day one for him or for them. Definitely getting it, Brandman. It's more complicated than usual, says Josh. I hate normal tennis. Okay. Feel like you need to buy this game. Okay. I swear, Josh. I swear I'm gonna come through and beat you with that Donkey Kong Country reference. Jerry saying I'll buy it. Got smoked online. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I mean, if Donkey Kong's in it, yeah, absolutely gonna play as Donkey Kong, of course. Yeah. And if I'm playing as Donkey Kong in this game, Josh, I will smash you. I will literally just smash you in this game all day long. Yeah, so we'll have to set that up some way online so I can beat Josh. Okay, so yeah, that's coming out. But of course, actually coming out to this week is Sushi Strikers. Yeah, who's excited for that one?
Did you play the demo of that?
I did actually. I actually thought it was relatively good.
Yeah, my son is really excited for it too. And I actually, I this is a game that I initially thought like, oh well, this is like, why in the world would you play this with a Joy-Con or like with a controller? But then I actually did it, and I was like, oh, you know what? This is kind of, I don't know if it might actually be cheating to play it with a controller, because I feel like it gives you a little bit of an advantage. You just kind of spin it and it automatically chooses where it could go.
Yeah, yeah. So I played it on the Switch. Didn't use touchscreen, just the Joy-Con, and I felt a little bit like it was a little bit loose, I guess, to connect stuff. So did you use a touchscreen then, Zach? In your demo?
No, I used the controller and just
Okay.
kind of. It is because you kind of just like guide it around using the
Yep.
the control stick.
Yep.
I didn't have a problem with that at all. I know some people kind of did, but maybe it's easier for my brain because I don't know, because it made it a little bit easier for me. I don't know. That was my experience with it, at least.
Right. Yeah. Now, everything I was listening to some other podcasts. They were actually recommending that they actually found the experience on the 3DS was better because they were actually using their stylus and using the bottom screen to connect.
Well, that's what it was designed for, right?
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily disagree that might be the case.
But you've burned your 3DS, haven't you? Like you
No,
didn't I see?
no.
Didn't I see? I thought I saw a picture of you putting in a garbage can just setting fire to it. I thought I saw that.
Maybe.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, but I think it's, I think it's, I would prefer to play it on the Switch, obviously, given my comments in the past. But I can see why it would be better on the 3DS, or at least that it would be. I would say, okay, define better. Like, what are you looking for, right?
I think probably talking about the control experience there, right? Like, what makes you feel like you have more control over it?
Mm-hmm. Exactly, and I would say if that is the kind of game you're looking for, I think that the choice is something to be celebrated about this, is that it's on both. That Nintendo saw that Nintendo did not release yet another game on just on the 3DS when there's clearly an audience for it on the Switch.
Right.
And I think that is something to be celebrated, and yeah. So that's, I guess, what I would say.
Great. Okay. And you're gonna be getting access to it very soon here, Zach. So we can expect more of your hands-on impressions with it right away.
Absolutely, yeah. I will definitely be playing that. And again, my son is like, he loves anime. It's funny because like the anime that we have watched, that he has access to and that he has watched because of Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
He now just goes on Netflix, and like he's been watching like Yu-Gi-Oh, like old Yu-Gi-Oh stuff, and so like the art style I think is really I think he's really going to dig that a lot. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to
Good.
getting him to play that too and getting his impressions of it, because it's going to be awesome.
That's great.
Little sidetracky here, and not to sound like a commercial because we are definitely not endorsed by them, but have you heard of Verve?
Verve.
Yeah, VRV. It's from Crunchyroll. They kind of partnered together with multiple channels to have all the content available at one place, and I've been watching just a crap ton of anime through that in the last few weeks. That's where I'm watching My Hero Academia and Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains and several other shows. I just started Sword Art Online as well.
Interesting.
Seeing some of the comments in the chat here saying the price is a little bit steep. A little bit steep for it.
I don't know about that.
It's tough.
Well, what is the game runtime? I know reviews came out today, but I haven't had a chance to look at them yet. I
haven't checked either.
Nintendo World Report gave it a 9.5, by the way. So
wow.
I think that is worth noting. Is that is at least. I mean, Nintendo World Report, probably their scores are a little bit inflated, probably, but.
Yeah, but they still don't give away 9s very often. They go 7s and 8s more than anything.
Yeah, they're not busting out 11s like we do.
Unless you're James Jones, then you give out 2s and 4s because you're just playing the wrong games.
Okay, so what it's saying is a straight run through. So there's online community, there's online competition stuff. A straight run through of the game is about 10 hours. But the puzzle gameplay is nicely soothed and varied, so I was encouraged to retread past levels to get S ranks, complete star challenges, and uncover bonus levels. So, I mean, the campaign is about 10 hours long, which actually, I mean, I will say, some people may hear that and think, oh, well, that's not very long. Like, what's that about? But I would say if the campaign is 10 hours long, that actually tells me maybe I'll finish it, because a lot of these games that are way longer than that are sometimes. I end up falling off before finishing them, and so I'd rather pay for a game that I'm actually going to finish. Yeah. So, anyway.
Okay, great. Now, speaking of anime and watching shows with your kids, Zach, I assume, and Netflix availability, assume you'll be watching the new Castlevania season with your young son on Netflix, which is fantastic.
Well, I don't know about the young son part, because I remember season 1 was got kind of gory.
No,
you may have missed my sarcasm.
Okay.
My nasally congestion. I apologize for that.
I did, but yeah. So
insert sarcasm warning here.
So the news item I added was it got renewed for a 3rd season, even though season 2 hasn't aired yet.
Well, I think there's probably a little bit of a froth around Castlevania right now, especially with the games. Bloodstained, I think, has helped it being put back in the public consciousness of hype. So I think that's helping it probably as well. So, all right. So season 2, it's coming up this summer. Season 3 will probably be next year as well. What else? What other headlines we got going on here? Jesse, you've got some times and dates here for E3. I don't know if we want to run through this or maybe just extract what we should be aware of, what people should be aware of, or maybe what we're going to be doing during E3. I don't know. What do you want to do here?
I don't know. We'll do a quick run through, and then the non-Nintendo things we can just go quick, and then if we want to stop and talk about something specific, then we can.
Yeah, I love that. That's a fantastic idea.
So Sunday, the times are all Eastern time, so adjust accordingly. Xbox starts at 4. Bethesda starts at 9:30.
So let's take a pop there. Are we expecting to hear anything from Bethesda? What do you guys think?
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah. If they may say, oh yeah, Fallout 4 will come to Switch, sure. But they're not gonna. I don't think they're gonna spend much time on it. They're gonna spend more time talking about 76.
Yeah, I think we're gonna hear anything. It's gonna be and this is also coming to Switch. Like, don't expect any major.
Wolfenstein date.
Yeah. Well, I thought we have a Wolfenstein date.
Oh, we do. That's right.
It's in the shop right now. Yeah. So.
That's right.
Yeah. If there's gonna be anything there, it's gonna be this is available also on the Switch, right? So,
Right.
Okay. All right, let's move forward. What else we got? We have
Monday. Square Enix at 1.
Okay, I'm going to take a pause. Are we getting anything from Square Enix?
World Ends With You, maybe.
Oh, yeah, that game, right?
That's a good one. Yeah, other than, and also on Switch, probably not.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 15 port.
What's the likelihood of that one?
Pocket Edition. Wasn't there a rumor that was the?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that still scares me. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Ubisoft at 4. That one has probably a chance of some significant announcements.
Yeah, I think we'll probably get the Rabbids release date on that, will we not?
Oh, yeah.
The DLC.
Oh yeah.
State of the.
Because that's supposed to be this month.
Yeah.
Is
You know what? You know, they may not even talk about it there, actually.
I was gonna say, like, I think that some of that kind of stuff, I wonder if they would do it in Nintendo's announcement or in their own. I would hope that it would be something that is
Joint.
that is in their own conference, right? Because for me, that signals the Switch is being taken seriously. Because historically, anything that is done by a third party that is on a Nintendo system, it's up to Nintendo to announce it almost.
Yeah.
But it's almost like they won't publicly admit that they are going to support the system. I don't know. Anyway,
going back to Square Enix a little bit, Chad is saying Sora for Smash and Kingdom Hearts 3 on Switch, which Sora and Smash maybe, but I don't see Kingdom Hearts 3 coming out on anywhere besides PlayStation 4. Or maybe PlayStation 5 if they delay it again. Okay, then PC Gaming Show at 6, so that's going to be a snore.
It's going to be a cringe fest again. Like, I'm looking for a compilation video of all the, like, I actually, talking about like hype for E3 this year, for some reason I am more excited than ever for just the cringe compilations for E3.
Nice.
That is I always kind of enjoy those as a side piece of E3, but I feel like that's the main attraction for me this year.
Right.
Is just bad moments where it just goes south. I'm looking forward to it this year.
Yeah.
And then running concurrent to that, the Splatoon 2 championships will start at 6:30.
Now this is something actually interesting here, because do you remember the rumor a couple of weeks ago that there was going to be some big Splatoon news? I think it was going to be June 9th.
Nope.
Do you guys remember that?
Nope.
Oh, come on. Anyone?
June 9th is a Saturday.
I know that. I'm fully aware. Come on, chat, help me out here. Somebody. Do you guys remember this whole big Splatoon 2 news? It was leaked in a magazine. Come on, chat. Don't fail me now. And none of you are typing.
No.
You are totally failing me. All of you are the worst.
Well,
on,
if they say anything,
Well,
we can get back to it. Josh says nope.
Josh is not a valid source. Thank you. Nintendo Talk, shock the world. Thank you. You know what? Fine. I will do my own research. You all just vamp. I'll do this.
That's good. It's been debunked, apparently.
No, it has not.
Don't crush his dreams, chat room.
Okay.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's hard to know. I don't know. So what else we got going on? So the PC gaming.
PC Gaming Show at 6. Splatoon 2 starts at 6:30. Then Sony's at 9, and there's I think traditionally the longest of the shows.
Yeah.
And
they're the.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we'll see. I was gonna say that one will be a little bit interesting to see. The funny thing is like I work Monday night until at least 9 o'clock, and so I'm kind of 9 o'clock Mountains, which is 11. So I will basically be finishing work and then get to go and catch up on the day's stuff. Luckily, I have Tuesday off, so I'll be able to check out everything. But
Sony will usually do some simulcasting of that event into movie theaters, and I did it once several years ago, like 2013, 2014, or whatever, the first year that they didn't mention Vita, which was still surprisingly early in their life cycle. So, but that was fun, and I'd like to do it again, but I'm not going to be able to do it this year, mainly because I didn't see the announcement until after it was already sold out in my area. But even if I did go and try to get in as a wait list, my son gets off work at 8 o'clock my time, or 9 o'clock my time. So I had to pick him up from work, and so I had to miss part of it anyway. So best that I'm not even trying to go to the movie theater for that.
I don't know. I'm interested to see what they have to show. I think that they've got Spider-Man to show off. They've got.
Yeah, but will they? They tend to announce stuff that won't come out for 7 years.
Dude. They freaking better show off Spider-Man. It's coming out in like September or something, isn't it? So.
Yeah, but they showed it off 3 years ago.
Yeah, that's true. So then they'll probably show off. Like,
apparently, Final Fantasy VII isn't coming out till 2020, 2022. Some really outrageous.
Was that actually announced? Really? I don't know if that's.
I don't know. I heard it once as I thought it was a joke, but then I heard it again from other people. So I'm like, maybe is that really legit? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those I'll believe it when I see it games.
Yeah. Then we've got like the Nintendo stuff, right? So at 12 o'clock.
Now Tuesday is pretty much all Nintendo. So the digital event starts at noon, which the Smash Brothers.
How long it's gonna be? Let's manage our expectations and say this thing's gonna be on half an hour tops because that's only how long it ever is.
I thought I saw some tweets this morning saying it might be 40 to 45, which is possible as they've done that before.
Expect half an hour, guys. I'm just gonna say that. Expect half an hour, then you'll be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I did try to to do some searches to get the confirmation on the length and couldn't find it. So
I think last year was under 30 minutes. I remember that.
Yeah, it was like 25 last year.
The year before was like 45, and that was the year of Star Fox Puppets. So and last year it was a tight presentation, like it was kind of hitting all.
Yeah, that was 2015.
Yeah,
that was.
What are you cranky about there, Zach?
I don't know. I think that I think that we deserve to have a longer. No, just kidding. That's not where I was going with that. But I feel like there is something to be said about like a visceral reaction if it is too short. Right. You know what I mean? Like I think last year was too short, and it feels like they literally could have taken the same stuff and spanned it and spread it over a longer period of time, and they would have gotten more. I would rather them pad it out a little bit and just have a longer. I mean, this is E3 comes but once a year, so
right.
Yeah, don't waste time talking about Miyamoto remembering his youth walking through fields like they did with the Star Fox Zero thing. That was silly.
What I'm saying though is I would rather have them do that.
Yeah, have
the presentation cut by that amount of time.
Right. I'd rather have 45 minutes of real content.
I mean that's again high hopes, low expectations.
Right. Right. I'm not expecting it. I'm just saying that's what I'd like to see.
I'd like to. I wonder where Reggie Fils-Aimé is awkwardly going to be walking this year. Right? Is it going to be in a house? Is it going to be at a beach like it was last year? Where is he just going to awkwardly show up with his odd conversation?
With his Galaxy Edition 3DS?
Yeah, that's what I'm excited to end up seeing. You know, I think with Nintendo, and we've talked about before, their level of communication, especially with like directs, you know, their ability to drop, you know, console or communication whenever they want, I think isn't as reliant on them to use E3 in the same method. Now, I agree with you, Zach. Like show up and it only comes once a year. Show up, right? Participate proper. Now the other thing is, you know, the direct may be 30 minutes or whatever it is, but we know more stuff is revealed throughout the conversation during the Treehouse, right? So there'll be more information there too. There'll be a reveal here and there.
Right, and then Treehouse Live will start as soon as the digital event completes, and will roll most likely all day. I think the show floor shuts down at 4 Pacific, would be 7 Eastern.
Wow.
Well, at least on Tuesday and Wednesday, and then it shuts down early or Thursday.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I see in the chat room somebody here saying, you know, like why would they pad the presentation when they've got Treehouse Live for the entire day? The reason is that you've got the entire world media and everybody focused on you, and everybody's attention is on Nintendo during that digital presentation. And as soon as that presentation ends, a very high percentage of those people are going to peace out, and they will maybe catch some stuff on social media. So if you don't announce something in that presentation, the likelihood that that announcement goes missed is much higher, right?
Yeah.
And so that's where, and
Yeah,
yes, everybody kind of will, having them announce Metroid last year afterwards on the Treehouse, that was kind of a moment of like, yeah, okay, like I understand that you want to focus on the Switch, but you couldn't have shown that off on the stream, like on the digital presentation. More people would have seen it right away.
And they've upset a lot of people with their pacing on Treehouse before. Like they I think it was 2 years ago, they hinted that they were going to talk about so and so game after the digital event ended, but then said, "But we'll talk about Pokemon for an hour first." Like, no, I don't care about this game. I want to talk about what you were wanting to talk about.
Yeah. Well, I think the other thing here is, and I was listening to some of the podcasts, and if there's one word that Nintendo kind of needs to begin to think about, or their approach to E3 is a little bit of be aggressive, right? Nintendo has a high level of momentum running into this. They've kind of got their foot on the gas. There is no reason to not continue to let's hit it out of the park again. Let's show more content. Let's reveal more content. Let's really use that time. Right, if we want to meet those sales numbers, which I mean they're going to easily do, but you buckle that with, we know we've got Pokemon, we know we've got Smash. Like, what else are we going to do? Right? Are we going to talk about like Pikmin 4? Right? Is that going to be something we're going to announce? Are we talk about Animal Crossing? Probably not, because it's a stupid game that no one wants to play.
Oh, that was for you, Josh Thomas.
That was absolutely for you, Josh Thomas. Right, but like they have an opportunity here to really put the gas down. I think they should do it. So maybe let's talk about let's while we're in this pocket, let's talk about maybe what we're going to be doing from a Nintendo Dad's perspective. Zach, are we committed, you and I, to do a live reaction? Yeah, we're going to do a live reaction. We're going to probably go online probably about half an hour before the event, banter like we always do. Talk a little bit about expectations, and then as the direct is occurring, we're giving our live reactions to it. So if you want to join us for our live reactions, you're absolutely available to do that. Of course, it'll be available on YouTube shortly following, and then we'll have a little bit of a post-show discussion. Zach and I will. Then from there, I think that night we're going to be trying to connect the team together for a post E3 Nintendo podcast. And then we'll do our regular podcast on the days we typically do as well. So there'll be a lot of content coming out from us as well. So yeah, a lot going on there. Are you guys going to try and catch in the tournaments live? What are you thinking?
Maybe. I want to definitely. I want to see what time is the Smash stuff at.
Okay,
Smash is at.
Splatoon 2 starts at 4, and then Smash will start immediately after that. So
okay,
they haven't announced a time for Smash because they don't know when it will be.
Yeah, so, I will probably. I'm more likely to try and catch Smash than I am to catch the other stuff. Just because, for no other reason that I actually have been playing more Splatoon 2 than just about anything. It was my, like in your time log or whatever that the parental app gives you every month. It was my number 1 last month. I've really been getting back into Splatoon, and so.
Me too.
I am excited for the Splatoon stuff too. But again, I think this is kind of where I'm at this year too, is that now that I'm a working man, with like in working a lot, I value my time a little bit more now, or I guess my time is more at a scarcity, and so this idea that like Nintendo expects you to watch all of Treehouse Live, and they want you to watch all of these things, like I am not in a place right now that I can watch all this stuff anymore. And so looking at
unless you do what I do and take a week off vacation.
Yeah, right. And which I mean, as a therapist, going and telling all my clients, hey, everybody, I want to go and watch all E3. You know what E3 is? I know you're having a severe anxiety period of your life, but it's the Sony presentation, right? It just doesn't work. So
I don't think you're trying hard enough.
Yeah, that's Fair enough. Yeah, that you've given me something.
Maybe you can say, let's watch it together.
Yeah, yeah. There you go.
You think your problems are real? These guys have to wait for Last of Us 2 for another 6 months. Jeez.
Yeah. Listen, do you like? Yeah, you think your problems are bad. Ice climbers have not yet been confirmed for Smash on Switch. Like, welcome to my world. All right. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be fantastic. Yeah, so Splatoon 2, I mean, I tried to do some research. I do see some people in the chat here who's validating there was some stuff. There was some press information saying expect a shock on June 9th from Splatoon. Big thing being revealed. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just going to be the Octopath Octoline DLC coming out finally, or it's just debunked. I don't know. But maybe something will happen right before the Splatoon 2 World Championship to change the game a bit. So keep your eyes peeled this weekend, folks.
I'm really looking forward to playing. I am fully expecting that that Octopath or the Octo expansion is going to be out next week.
Right? Yeah. Oh, I think so too.
And I'm really looking to it. I actually I went and finished the campaign in Splatoon.
Just to be prepared for that.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. And speaking of Splatoon, let's just take a pause here, guys. The Splatoon master himself, the king of Splatoon, Mr. Eric Plunk, is we're not worthy for to be here. Like, this is amazing. Thank you, Eric, so much for tuning in. I appreciate the fact you're able to separate your time as you were preparing for the championship yourself this weekend.
And also, Josh, in the chat room, try waiting for a new home console Animal Crossing game for 10 years, then tell me about your problems.
Very true. All right, folks. That's all we've got for the news. Let's move on to what we have been playing, shall we?
Sure.
I guess. Sure. I appreciate your hype on that one, by the way. Sure. All right.
Do it. There you go.
All right. Let's. Where do you want to start here? Who wants to start?
I can start. I'm trying to think what I've been playing. Yeah, I can do that. I can step up to the plate. So basically, I've been playing a couple different things. I'm trying to think what I got codes for too, so that we make sure to cover those. One of them is a game that I covered a long time ago on the 3DS that is now on the Switch. Little game called Pirate Pop Plus. I put a video up on YouTube that I don't know what it is about this game. Do you ever have those games that you're like, wow, I really like this game, but I also know that this probably, if I tell other people that I really love this game, they may just look at me like I'm weird and have bad taste.
They do that to me anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's so anyway, occurrence for Jesse.
So Pirate Plus is a game that's basically a modern day sort of Game Boy high score like a high score arcade sort of game where you play, and I'm pulling it up on my Switch here so people on the live stream can see, where the screen actually is basically like a little Game Boy, and like this is here's the home screen, where it literally is like a Game Boy screen, and it's all in like, at least I think it's kind of like how Shovel Knight was. Yes, it was 8-bit, but it's not. Like, it's a little bit more advanced than 8-bit. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's got like the same. It feels like a game that you would have played on the Game Boy, and the music is very true to it. And it's basically you're shooting little chain spike thing to pop bubbles, and it's one of those like easy to play, hard to master sort of thing. Easy to start, hard to master. I don't know. Anyways, this is the kind of game that if this would have been released on the Game Boy at that time, I feel like it would have been a big hit. It's just a matter of, and so I really like it. Go and check out our channel, check out the videos. If you want to check out Pirate Pop Plus, it's on the eShop. It's just a little, but I really like it and can recommend it because I think it's fun. I also have been playing, what is the name of this game? Oh my gosh. It is called Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle, which we got a code for this game. I had no idea what and so this is a crossover game of a fighting game of 4 different franchises. I think the original franchise that's kind of bringing all these other things into is this Blaze Blue sort of franchise, and it is a fighting, like sort of a Japanese fighting game in the realm of an arcade fighting game. I know that it was like those, like a Street Fighter type game. There are a lot of them on the Switch now, especially with all those Neo Geo games, right? All the sort of like the fighting games.
Sorry, Zach, which game is this?
Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle.
Oh, right. Yeah, you just started this one, right?
Yeah, and it is. It's funny because I only recognize. So there's a crossover of 4 different franchises. There is Blaze Blue, Persona, Under Night in Birth, and Ruby. What is this? Ruby? Yeah.
Ruby Tuesday.
Ruby Rose, I think, is the title, or the character name at least. Anyway, so it's a bunch of different anime characters that fight. The only characters that I recognize from it are from the Persona 4 series, specifically like Persona. What is it? Persona 4 Arena, I guess.
Are they only from 4, or are they from other games as well?
No, it's just from 4. Yeah. So there are some characters. Yeah, RWBY is Ruby, right? So and so there's all these different characters, and I recognize only a few of them, but yeah. So like the Persona characters, you've got the main character, which I guess his name is Yu now.
That's his canonical name.
Yeah, and then it's got, what's his name, Yosuke, Chie, girl in the red skirt, whatever her name is, and dude who uses a chair, whatever his name is. Anyway, so this is basically, it's like a bunch of characters that I don't recognize, but it is it's different than, like, it's nice to play like there's the Street Fighter series or the Street Fighter collection that came out. I didn't get that, but I think that it would be similar to maybe not the super modern Street Fighter, but sort of like the era of 2D fighter games that were in the arcade. The one that was in my arcade when I was growing up was X-Men versus Street Fighter, right? So, like, and it's like that. It's, you've got, you're picking 2 different characters. It's the team up sort of thing. And I mean, it is what it is. I think that if you like these kinds of games, then it is a competent game, I would say. It's not overly complicated with the button control or the button combinations that it requires you to do in order to do moves. It's pretty approachable that way. But yeah, I think it's fun. Right now there are free downloadable characters, and there's also some DLC characters, which I don't really have any desire to spend money on these additional characters when a lot of these characters feel like, yes, they're doing different things animation wise, but they don't necessarily feel mechanically very different. So I don't know, it's just kind of like a button mashy fighter game. I can't really say too much about it other than that at this point, but I guess the one thing that I would say is that there is a campaign mode, and we can't talk too much about it because it's one of the things in the embargo that we can't discuss. Is that right, Justin?
Yeah, it's a very interesting embargo.
Yeah, and so basically, what I will say is that the campaign mode is very talky. Like, there is a lot of voiceover, sort of like, here is a picture of it's like the 2 different like character arts with the speech bubble underneath, and just literally like probably 10 minutes of dialogue between each fight that then lasts 2 minutes, and then another 10 minutes of dialogue in another fight, and then then 5.
So they're going visual novel with fights in the middle.
Kind of, yeah, which is a little bit, but then also picture the fact that this storyline is not. It's literally like, oh, weird. What's this weird item? Wow. Now it's like the classic crossover storyline of like, whoa, who are you? What world is this? Let's fight. All right, now, whoa, we're in another new world. What is going on? And then finally, you find out. For
those of you that are wondering, Zach will be leaving the show very soon to pursue his career in anime voice acting.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. So.
Any character reacting to Teddy would just be hilarious.
Yeah, I actually wish Teddy was in this game because he's not in the game.
He's
That
not.
I've seen.
That's a missed opportunity.
Oh, I know, right? He's like the best character in that franchise.
Maybe he's one of the DLCs.
Maybe that's if that's the case, then that would get me to buy the DLC, is so that I could be Teddy. Not only that, because also that I found out Teddy is voiced by Sam Riegel, which if you know who that is, then that's awesome. But yeah. Anyway, I just found that out. Anyway, so that is mostly what I've been playing. I've also been playing Splatoon. I played the Mario Tennis Aces demo and got my butt kicked. Pokemon Quest, I guess, is another one I could very briefly talk about. Justin, did you say you played this, or you?
I played about 30 minutes of it with my daughter.
Okay.
We actually recorded some footage. She's going to do a voiceover.
Nice.
For the show. She wants to give it a shot. So I said, sure, we'll give that a shot.
Cool. Yeah, I don't know. It is. I feel like, there are some games that's like I don't know. This is the kind of game that I feel like maybe when it comes to mobile, I'll play it more.
Mm.
But because it is not really like Switch is not the place to have the energy countdown timers. You know
Sure.
what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what this game has, and I don't want to play a game with countdown timers on the Switch. That sucks.
That's fair.
And if you're going to put that in there, then I think that you need to give a Pokemon Picross sort of situation instead, where you can basically buy it out and just play the game as in.
That would have been nice.
Well, can't you? I thought you could.
No, I don't think
Well,
so.
yes, you can throw money at it, but it doesn't unlock infinite energy like that Picross game did. So there's three packs. Each pack comes with one extra maximum energy, one extra cooking pot, and then a various amount of the in-game currency, and then other knickknacks. And then they have, if you add up the three together, it's at least in the US it's $33. They have them as a bundle for $30. So you get a little bit of a discount if you buy all three at once. And actually, I did throw money at it to do that, to get the extra energy and the extra cooking pots going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's basically what I've been playing right now. I think, just it is what it is. I think it's fine, but it's not something that's gonna hold my attention.
Yeah, it's probably not for you, but I'm sure like your kids like it.
Well, that's the thing too, though, is that it's not exactly the most engaging gameplay either, right? Like, like you basically manage, you go around and screw around in menus, and then you go and hit the autoplay button, and then the game runs itself. So there's for something that my son is gonna want to get in and play, and and have this exciting Pokemon adventure or something like that, like. You literally do nothing with the Pokemon. The Pokemon themselves, and if you want to, you can push the special ability buttons. But why would you do that when you don't even have to?
Right. So. Yeah. And my daughter's actually found it as it's actually, she's found it very engaging actually. And I don't know, maybe it's the cuteness of them, maybe it's the ease of doing it, but it felt like it was an easy step for her to get into playing some Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I haven't tried it yet.
It was also a really good conversation for us to have, especially from parenting perspective, about so kind of much like you, Zach, she doesn't like to read screens or instructions or tutorials, so she hits through the buttons really fast. And I'm like, no, you need to understand how this works, right? So we had to have a conversation about how this, and then it's like, well, what's HP? What is ATK, right? So we got to have a conversation about, well, here's health, here's attack, and you get to make a team, and these numbers have to add up to be higher, or you want these numbers to be higher than someone else. So if you have 600 and they have 800, which number is higher? And if that's the case, do you think the team with a higher number will win or lose? Do you know what I mean? So to actually create a bit of a conversation about, like, it was kind of like just introduction to some simple game mechanics and simple RPG mechanics, I guess, right? A game that she would typically not be interested in, right? She loves Mario Kart, which is great, and she loves Splatoon. But for her to say, hey, I want to understand how I can be better at this. I thought that was a great conversation. I think, is it auto running by itself? Yeah. So I mean, she was here yesterday morning. She got herself her bowl of cereal. She grabbed the Switch. She came and she put it on the table top mode, and played, quote unquote, the game.
Yeah.
And she put it on kind of auto mode and watched it play. And she's like, "Oh yeah, this match won. Cool." Like if that's how you're introducing someone to a complex topic such as RPGs, then I think it's a great. Like, man, like my first RPG was Final Fantasy VII. That was my first RPG.
I'm sorry.
Right?
Dude.
I didn't like RPG games. I was like top-down stupid games. Like, why would you play those things? So, to be able to say, like, here at this age of 7, here the mechanics, the idea, the fundamentals stay relatively the same. Like, it's a great opportunity. It probably, I mean, and I would also agree with you, Zach. It does feel very mobile. Like it should, and I know it will be coming out of mobile, and I'll pick it up. I'll pick it up on the mobile device when it comes out. But like, it's definitely that kind of game.
Yeah, there's something I haven't tried yet, but apparently there's a button on the screen during the battles that lets your party scatter. Which,
Yes.
if you're I haven't played with that yet. So if that will help me. Once I get used to using that, it might help me get past the levels I'm stuck on.
Mm-hmm. Right on.
Also, a couple things. Good morning to Gary Gray, Flat Cat Gamer, who just joined us, and Chris. Is Justin already downing beers? Hashtag Ireland life. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. No, this is hay fever that's kicking up. That's why I look red-eyed. But it is Ireland, so I also wouldn't be shocked if I was drinking. And actually, oddly enough, the cup that I'm drinking my water out of this morning is a pint glass, and it's from Guinness, as you would here. So
amazing.
Going back to BlazBlue real quick, I checked on the roster, and Teddy is not in it, but one of the DLC. Not even as DLC. One of the DLC characters is Aegis from Persona 3, which was in Persona 4 Arena because that game was a mashup of 3 and 4 characters.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
But Aegis is the only three character in the game. Everyone else is from 4.
Cool. Right on. Justin, what have you been playing, dude?
Yeah, so I've got 3 games I'm going to give you some quick hot takes on. First one I've been playing for a couple weeks now is Yoki Island Express. This is from Team 17 and Villa Gorilla. I had an opportunity to play this down at EGX last September in Birmingham with Mr. Flatcap Gary Gray himself, and this is a fantastic game. This is best described as a pinball Metroidvania game.
This sounds insane on paper.
I know, it sounds absolutely insane. It's adorable. You are a male, an ant, I guess is what it is. A mailman ant who is coming to this island, and the island is kind of under attack, and you have to find your way through it. And it's a fantastic twist on the pinball genre. And you have to use your controller, your bumpers to get you from one level to an area and collect all the fruit that you need, and then your pop out of kind of the level, and you control your person just walking through, and it's an adorable art style, fantastically approachable and easy for children. I will tell you, there is some precision that you have to be good with pinball at some points. I found, and there is a Let's Play of me up on our YouTube channel. I found that a lot of times I was kind of hitting the same shot and it was going to the exact same spot, and that wasn't great. And I was like, no, I need the ball to go over to the left to unlock the area or get through that hole. So it's very approachable, and I think kids would enjoy doing it. But this may be a game you may want to play with your kids because they may get frustrated easy. So maybe, hey, let's play together, pass the controller back and forth. It is only a 1-player game. That's probably one of my downfalls to it. But I think if you did 2-player pinball, it'd be a bit weird.
You can always try splitting the Joy-Con. That would be probably adding difficulty versus
like a left, right. I'm the left bumper, you're the right bumper.
Right.
But I did, it's really well designed. It's a lot of fun. And again, it's a unique twist on a genre that you don't really think would need a twist. Again, story-based pinball Metroidvania game is the best way to describe it. Again, fantastic art style, kid-friendly. I would highly recommend this. This one was actually on my radar from when I played at EGX. So this is, I would definitely do it. If you're questioning it, go check out our Let's Play as well. I think it's for under $20, I think, on the eShop, so definitely worth it. The next one I want to talk about is a game called Shift Quantum. Now, actually, Jesse, I think this one you might really like. So you might want to check this one out, Shift Quantum. It is a puzzle game, and it reminds me very much of like, and I was playing it with my wife. We're going to be putting up a Let's Play of it in the next coming days. What would happen if like The Matrix and an episode of Black Mirror got stuck together? And what it is it's based in the future, very kind of, I don't know, Blade Runner background. But you go into this like simulation, and it is black and white scape. And what happens is you have to get out of the level. That's simple. There's no enemies, there's no bosses, but you have to get out of the level. And all you need to do is you hit A, and it swaps all the black spaces for white spaces and white spaces for black spaces. And this then creates paths that you travel through to find your exit. So you kind of have to like it's your objective is to get out of each level. It's you know, as my wife said, it's like a maze, but with black and white color scope flipping. And it's very simple not simple graphics, but relatively simple graphics. The only way you really die is there are spikes, so you can die and that kind of stuff. But it's really about problem solving and puzzle solving, which I think that Jesse, why you would like it. But there's a story there as well of kind of every once in a while it looks like the system that you're in, because it's kind of like this virtual reality, is glitching. And there is someone else is in the system with you that you're trying to find and trying to there's a story there as well. So again, probably not describing it great. Shift Quantum, Nintendo Switch eShop. It's black and white. It's a really cool puzzle solver. Very simple, very easy to pick up. One of those kind of like, hey, maybe I've only got 5-10 minutes, I can bust out a couple of these mazes. Jesse, I would really recommend you try this, because I think this is really up your alley. So check it out.
I'll give it a look.
So big thanks to the developer for that one as well. And now the other one I just got a code for a couple days ago. I know there was a question in the chat about it. Is guys, I'm playing some Shaq Fu. Shaq Fu, Legend Reborn. And it is, and I want to take a little bit of a PSA beforehand. For anyone who is listening, if you have picked up NBA Playgrounds last year when the game was released, up until I think it was, they were waiting for this big patch to come through, or an update that took them, I think, a couple months to finally do. If you picked up NBA Playgrounds during that time, I think the window was like June to July, you can actually get Shaq Fu for free on the Nintendo Switch eShop.
Wow.
Just go into, so again, if you picked up NBA Playgrounds on the Nintendo Switch, go into your eShop and check if Shaq Fu is free to download for you. Or if you check on it, and you can kind of bring it all the way to checkout before you pay for it, if it says 0 credits due, it is 100% free for you.
What is the rationale behind that?
Because they had people because it took them so long to get the patch for the NBA Playgrounds game that they had originally done. They wanted to provide a free game to early adopters who kind of had to suffer through yeah. And I know that Marty actually had got NBA Playgrounds, so he was actually able to get Shaq for free. So guys, a little bit of PSA, check that one out. Also, quick side note here, we didn't mention the news, but the eShop got a nice little update, right, for searchability. Yeah, so I forgot to mention that.
You know what's funny about that? I'll just spend like 2 seconds, but it's hilarious to me when how excited people got about that. Like some of the, and I think maybe it's one part like just clickbait titles, you know, but like I'll call it Game Explain. Game Explain's like thumbnail was like, wow, or something like that, and I was like, dude, like they added a featured area and they provided an opportunity, or they added an area where you could filter out the retail games on the bestsellers list. So I don't know. It was funny to me that people were like, wow, that's amazing.
That's not the eShop update I'm waiting for.
Yeah. Yeah, I got really excited, and then I went and launched the eShop, and I was like, the first thing I did was like look at, oh, hey, is there an update for the Switch? Nope. There's not, actually. And so it was literally just those two things. But people got really excited. So I do like the fact that there's a featured tab now. Yeah, I think that's good. That should be the home page, like when you first launch it, but it's not. The recent is still the. But anyways.
Yeah. So going back to this. So I have been playing Shaq Fu. I haven't got a lot into it. Probably about 30 minutes, but it's fun. Like I'm not a huge beat 'em up brawler kind of game, but this one looked kind of interesting, right? I know that like you did Raging Justice not too long ago there, Zach. Typically not my kind of game, but this just the I guess the tongue-in-cheek attitude that this game had about itself, right? Like it's very campy. It very much knows that, like, we're talking about Shaquille O'Neal and him being a street fighter, a brawler character, and the legacy. Sorry?
I was going to say the trailer for this game is hilarious. I don't know if you watched it on the show.
Yeah, well, that's exactly, and that's exactly, like, it just knows what it is, right? And
like,
it was
basically was like, yeah, that game sucked back in the 90s. This game's better.
Yeah, and so there's this kind of like just this real honesty fun about it. They do a really great job. The cutscenes are done in a wonderful animation style, which I find very funny and engaging. The writing is really witty. Where, like, at one point, I know that we had Gary on the show not too long ago, and he had tried it out at EGX Rezzed. But like they talk about Shaquille O'Neal is talking to his kind of sensei, and he says something like, I know who you are, or I've learned a lot about you. And the guy's like, oh. Yeah, that's not my internet browser history. That's somebody else. It's like, you got a virus. That's not my stuff. I don't know what you're talking about. But it's that really, again, tongue-in-cheek kind of humor, just over the top campiness. It's fun. Like I'm having a fun time with it. The audio clips that they're using of Shaquille actually being a voice actor is really funny. Yeah, it's really quite funny. The thing I would probably say that I wish there was an opportunity for, if I again go back to, I wish it was 2-player. I wish there was some way I could choose, like, 2-player option, and then like some Shaquille in a different jumper comes in or something like that, where you could have you and a mate playing locally as well. But other than that, it's a lot of fun. If you like side-scrolling beat 'em up games, and you're looking for a new one with a good sense of humor, a good writing, I would definitely check out Shaq Fu. So yeah.
Nice. That's awesome. Right on, man.
Also, by the way, I finally got Bloodstained.
Oh, you should get that checked out.
Yeah. Wah. That's good. Finally got.
Did you hear about the prequel, High Fiber Diet? Anyways.
Oh, nice.
Jeez.
It's getting worse.
Wow. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep leaning into that.
Yeah.
And how is that though? Because I'm curious. I have considered picking it up. I'm not.
You know what? I haven't played it yet.
Is it the next Shovel Knight?
Well, no. This Bloodstained one. This is the prequel to the actual Curse of the Moon that's going to be coming out. What is this one? What the hell is this one called now?
Oh, it's not the big one.
No, it's not. It's for backers who are over $28, whatever. They get an 8-bit
Curse of the Moon.
Curse of the Moon. They get what's it called here? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Curse of the Moon. They get an 8-bit prequel that NT Create worked on, and everyone's saying it's basically Castlevania 3. And I know, like, Colin Moriarty was a huge fan of it. A lot of people are really huge fans of Jared Petty. Really huge fans of it. It sounds like if you're kind of in that 8-bit style, throwback Castlevania games, you may love this. I haven't had a chance to play yet. I had too many other things that hit my Switch that I needed to actually review. But I'll maybe try and put some play up of it very soon. But it looks really good.
Yeah, you started saying words that were putting me to sleep. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Sure, it's like whenever you talk about anything else.
Yeah.
Ooh, just kidding.
What was that 8-bit side-scrolling game?
Oh yeah.
Sounds incredible, right? That's,
Jesse, what have you been playing before he mutters off?
All right, so I played through West of Loathing. Marty talked a little bit about it last week, but I don't remember how far he said he got into it. But I haven't finished it to the point, meaning that I haven't gotten sick of it yet, and there's still new things I'm finding. Though I did complete the main story.
Okay.
So there's basically a main story and then several side quests you uncover. So I've finished all of the side quests that I found, and there's an area on the map that still looks kind of bare. So I think there are still more locations to find, which might lead to more side quests. And there are several puzzles, I guess is the right word to use, that I still haven't solved yet. But so it's the art style is like black and white, like stick drawing characters. So it looks funny, but they are surprisingly well animated, and so like and every time you use an item or cast a spell or whatever, the item actually is kind of animated with you. Like if you want to heal yourself, you pick up the first aid kit, you throw it in the air, and it lands on your head.
Okay.
And then you gain 10 hit points from that. So so it does weird things like that. It's so the combat is kind of turn-based, RPG like, but there's surprisingly little combat in the grand scheme of things. So there's a lot of like additional skills you can learn. Like one of the earlier ones I picked up was how to speak to goblins. So I have, it gives me choices the more skills I have. So I could, if I see a goblin in my travels, I can just go out and kill it right away, or I can try to talk to it and see what it's doing. Either way, I'll get some experience and I'll get the item he has, whether I talk him into selling it to me, talk him into giving it to me, or I just kill him.
So that's fair.
So there's other, they have other various skills, like they have safe cracking, which I want to get that to max, because I remember coming across a few safes that I couldn't open unless I had it up to level 5. But now I don't know. Problem is I don't remember where they went, so I may have to go through and search every building again, trying to find them. I did the same thing with lockpicking. I started the game with lockpicking 1, and it took a long time before lockpicking 2 got unlocked. Because I had, as you gain experience, you're able to buy the power-ups. I initially had it through the game buys them for me, and it promises a well-rounded character, and it did. But when I really wanted that the safe cracking and the lock picking to be maxed, I had to shut that off and force it. This is the one I want next.
Oh, okay.
So you basically, it's kind of like XP is another currency in the game. So as you gain XP, you spend it to unlock these new abilities.
Makes sense.
And then the actual currency in the game is meat.
Is meat.
Meat. It's
nice.
So you'll come across there's a lot of mines, and some of the mines you actually mine meat out of it. It's really weird. And I remember early in the game I had currency coming out of my rear, and
that's what I heard.
It did. But I got to a point where I found a circus. I had to pay 5,000 meat to get admittance, and I had it, so I paid. But after that, it really got really hard to earn meat. So I ended up playing most of the back half of the game, kind of not being able to buy everything I wanted to. Like there's an item that you can buy. You buy books to read to learn more skills. So there's one to learn foraging, so you can go around and get food from the wilderness. And that one I've never actually unlocked that skill, and I wanted to. So there's events that I'm not able to participate in when they arrive because I don't have the foraging skill.
Right. Okay. So you'd recommend it though, yeah?
Yeah, it's pretty fun. It's for a short game. It's a shortish game, maybe 10 hours, but there's a lot of stuff packed in there.
Right.
Yeah, and a lot of puns. I think my favorite one was I was hunting down these people who decided to hide in an abandoned bakery.
Okay.
And
you do.
Yes. Ironically, they stole bread from. But my partner asks, why would they hide out in bakery? And I said, they must need the dough.
Oh, jeez.
And her
So,
response was basically ... And then I said, maybe they might be loafing around.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I was amused. Anyway,
Stop it.
and one of the items, I put it on Twitter, is the best item in the game. The description is literally adds 0 points to the nothing skill.
I liked your maple syrup call out, by the way.
Oh yeah, that was something I just recently unlocked. I wanted to get a picture of the actual attack in place, but I missed it. It was a skeleton on his way to Canada, so he attacked with a maple syrup attack.
As you do. That's our.
That's something that happens to me on a regular basis.
Didn't you get robbed with a maple syrup attack recently?
Walking down the street, all of a sudden a maple syrup attack, man. It was a moose. Just straight up blindsided me with a maple syrup attack. Next thing I knew, I was at the Parliament building with the Prime Minister, and he said, "How's it going, eh?" And then like a Mountie was there. It was crazy.
Every stereotype possible.
just fish it through every stereotype. So, and this was all outside of a Tim Hortons, by the way.
Well, of course. So this game has, in this town, not town is probably the bad word, not the right word to use, but in the area that you're playing in, there's multiple things just going wrong. Apparently there was cows who are destroying towns, and we don't know why. There's like alien invasion. I think I'm getting close to that, figuring that story arc out, and then a cult of necromancers is erasing the dead. And
like you do.
Yeah, and so you actually come across so they're reanimating the dead. I actually came across a reanimated cow, and early on in the game, you're able to pick your partner between 3 or 4 different options. The one I picked really hates cows because her town was destroyed by the cow event that they talked about that happened in the past. And she keeps these tick marks on her rifle, and the more cows she kills or helps you kill, she levels up. So I'm not sure how the other partners would end up working, but when I saw the reanimated cow skeleton, so kind of merging 2 of the issues going on in this game, that still counted towards her level up.
Nice.
Okay, the other game I played for maybe a little more than an hour and did a live stream of it. It's called Defoliation. It's kind of a weird little game. Chapter 1 is just story, and you literally do nothing, but while the story goes on, you see this bar moving, kind of like a timer, a backwards timer. It's as it fills up, it adds to a counter that stockpiles 10. Once you finally get into chapter 2, these are like little puzzle rooms, almost like their own little escape rooms, and what you've been watching accumulate are hints that the game can give you. So they'll give you up to 10, and once you've exhausted them, then you just have to wait for the timers to fill up again. And a lot of the puzzles are not very intuitive. I got confused. I had to look a few things up online. I had some help from people in chat who are coming in and out watching me play. And the in-game hints, the majority of the time, were useless because they were so vaggy. But so I'm still in the middle of chapter 3, and apparently I don't know how many chapters are in the game, but the first screenshot you see when you go on the eShop page is like chapter 15 or 16. So the game's got some content to it. So I do plan on going back to it and trying it out again, because someone I think in the comments of my stream pointed me in the direction of where to go to solve the puzzle that I was stuck on.
Very cool. Excellent.
That's
all right, folks.
Yep, that's all I got.
Cool. All right. Well, I think that about wraps the show up today. Big thanks to everyone that was in the chat. I don't know if we've really got anything else to talk about. We recognize.
Is there anything like that?
Sorry, go ahead.
I don't think we got emails, so I guess we don't really have time.
We have a voicemail that came in. Zach, are you able to play that?
I don't have a thing to play that right now, unfortunately.
Okay. Fair enough. We'll come back to it next time.
Yeah.
So just as we're getting ready to head out, I want to give a big thanks to our Patreon producers. That is Chris Mears, David Ernsberg, and of course Timothy Alf. And if you wanted to follow us on all the social media, guys, you can head over to Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. You can email us at nintendodads@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your reactions and thoughts throughout the entire events during E3, guys. As I mentioned, we're going to have a lot of E3 coverage. Make sure you stay tuned to our social media channels. Again, that is Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and of course our YouTube channel to catch up on everything that we're going to be doing. We want to make sure that you're part of that conversation. So do send that content to us. Of course, we also are on Twitch at twitch.tv/NintendoDads. As YouTube, as I mentioned before. Hey, here's a thought for you guys. I want to ask you this. Zach, do you know how many videos we put up in the month of May? On our YouTube channel.
I want to say like 20.
Higher.
What?
Yep.
Oh my gosh, dude. That's
20.
almost every day. That is more days than not days.
I know. 27. We put up 27 videos on our YouTube channel in the month of May. We have become a much bigger YouTube presence from our content we're putting up. We're going to spend more time in the future dedicating to that as well. So if you have not already, head over to our YouTube channel, click that subscribe button and that notification button, so that when we're dropping new videos on Let's Plays or Reacts videos or unboxings or the podcast, you get that information right away. A ton of content there. Thank you to everyone who has been supporting that as well. And it's absolutely fantastic. We've got a lot of content actually coming from our community creators, and that's been a great amount of stuff is there as well, not only on the YouTube space, but also on our VGTribune.com for some reviews as well. So we've got a ton of content. Make sure you're staying connected to that as well. If you want to leave a voicemail, you can call into 929-25-NDADS or 929-256-3237. We're going to buy some sweet Nintendo Dads merch. Head over to tiny.cc Nintendo Dads store as well. Big thanks to OC Remix for the music throughout the show. And of course, if you want to change the world, head over to iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play. Give us some rankings on the podcast. Tell us that we're doing awesome. If we're not doing awesome, head over to if you don't like the show, if you do not like the show, head over to If We Ran Nintendo and give them a 1-star rating out of 5, and that lets us know that you don't like our show. That's how that works. So make sure you do that as well. Of course, as I mentioned before, I'm joking. I love them. Don't do that. Of course, as I mentioned before, you can head over to VGTribune.com. And guys, that is it. So for myself, for Jesse, for Zach, and for an absent Marty, thank you so much for listening to Nintendo Dads. And by the way, you folks, I want to say this beforehand, you folks in the chat who are watching this live, who show up and contribute to this chat every single week, thank you so much. You guys are awesome. We greatly appreciate you as well. You guys make it nice to be here and make it fresh and keep us on our toes. So guys, as we get ready for E3, I am hyped. Let's do this thing. Do it.
Bye.